What's up, everybody? Today we're going over one of the most disturbing animes I want to say that I've ever seen. It's called something balloons. I believe it's called Hanging Balloons by the famous horror author Junji Ito. I want to say that not even 5 minutes in, there's this young woman that's hanging from her apartment. We then get a clip of a giant crowd surrounding the scene with a news reporter going over everything. It's revealed that the young woman's name is Terumi Fujino, who is 17 years old and is quite popular in the music industry. Then the film goes on to Terumi's funeral. After the funeral, Kazuko's friend group wondered why Terumi, ended it. Then, in the background, we can see a group of guys surrounding Terumi's boyfriend, who is revealed to be Shinya Shiraishi. And pretty much, the group is blaming him for her unexpected death. And as the group progresses, it looks like a fight is gonna break out until Kazuko and her friend group show up, with Kazuko just threatening to call the police. We see Kazuko trying to comfort Shinya, but he can't help to blame himself. Then we get a cut into 3 weeks into the past, with the news show going over that many witnesses claim to have seen Terumi Fujino's ghost in a forest. And we see a news reporter interviewing two witnesses that claim they saw Terumi's head enlarged and floating over a tree. With rumors of Terumi's head scattering everywhere at the school, Kazuko finds Shinya, who claims to see her head all the time above his house. With Shinya thinking that Kazuko doesn't believe him, he invites her over to his house to see for herself. And with the day passing, we see Kazuko at home doing homework when suddenly she gets a call from Shinya saying that Terumi's head arrived over a phone booth at Ishoji's temple. Before the call ends, Shinya tells her to get over the fast. When Kazuko arrives at the scene, we get the camera panning to Terumi's head. She has lifeless eyes and a mouth that's open. With the camera zoomed away, we see her head floating away towards the forest. Kazuko follows her head, and we get a scene of Shinya on a tree begging for Terumi's forgiveness, when suddenly a rope falls down perfectly to his neck, and Shinya falls off the tree, and he's there, hanging. We hear some tree leaves rustling, and we see a giant version of Shinya's head with the bottom of the head having the rope that Shinya is dangling on. The film then jumps on to the next day with Kazuko telling her friends what she saw, and none of which believed her. Until one of her friends points out something in the sky. With the objects in the sky getting closer, we can identify them as floating heads with ropes below them. As they get even closer, we see that they are floating heads of Kazuko's friend group. They then suddenly swoop down and snatch up two of the friends. With all the panic going on, Kazuko and her friend Chiharu, the one with glasses, go to a slim alley to avoid getting caught. The rope still finds them and gets really close until one of the residents living by the alley opens his window and asks what the commotion is. Once they tell him what's going on, the dude comes out with a crossbow and shoots the head of Chiharu. We then think everything is okay, but then we see the actual Chiharu mimicking what happened to her balloon counterpart, and we see her shrivel up too. Kazuko, seeing all this, runs home with her balloon chasing her. Then we jump 5 days before the present to the news explaining that the floating heads have infested all of Japan and that no one should try to hurt the balloons in any way. Before closing off, the final note of the news being to stay indoors at all times. After hearing all this, Kazuko's father still leaves for his job, and you can probably guess how that ends. Soon, Kazuko's brother, Yosuke, leaves in an attempt to gather food for his family. He grabs an umbrella and throws it at the end of the rope and manages to get the umbrella stuck. Soon after Yosuke, Kazuko's mom suddenly opens the door and leaves with no warning, and you know how that ends. With us finally in the present, we stay there as Kazuko opens up the window to Yosuke's voice. We then see his body hanging, wedged in between the umbrella, and we then get an up-close view of Yosuke's giant head talking. And with the final clip, we see Kazuko's balloon head go up to her window and drop her rope, as if to admit defeat and accept the end. After a bit of researching and using my brain, I found that Junji Ito's story goes into a common problem that Japan faces, which is suicide. And it's mostly due to the social and academic pressure they have over there. And all in all, Hanging Balloons is by far such an interesting short film, and I definitely recommend everyone to go watch it and check out Junji Ito's other stories.